What is up? It is episode 23 of the Thursday Night Grind, and it's June 3rd or 4th or something like that. Welcome. Good to see you. So this is a long running series. I feel a little rushed today. The kids were restless going down. But anyway, every Thursday night I come on YouTube and I sharpen something on the bench. Tonight I have this Emerson Karambit and Chisel Grind with a Tanto, and I was telling the guys over at the guild that I'm a little nervous about doing this one on the Thursday Night Grind because it's kind of a tough blade, and I'll talk about that more in just a minute. But I did want to take a moment to share what's going on over at the guild, primarily to welcome Tyler to the guild. And what I love about his story is he's coming in with a lot of energy, but not a lot of experience, and I just love the vision that he's got and really the courage that he has to go into this space with big ambitions, and it's just inspiring, you know. And there's a lot of things going on in my own world that just continue to reiterate how much opportunity there is in this space, way more than I can handle. But yeah, there's a bunch, man, I've also been so impressed by how much engagement there's been inside the guild, helping each other out. There's a lot of stuff all around business. This month's theme is going above and beyond and like taking the best care of our customers possible. And, you know, I've had some stuff going on in my own business that they've helped me out with because it's been a little bit unfortunate, but there's a silver lining around everything. So I certainly appreciate that. Thank you guys. And there's more coming down the road. I got on the calendar for a talk or an interview, like if you want to call it that, formal, with the guys at All American Lawnmower Blade Sharpening. And I look forward to that. I put that out to the guys at the guild and got some good questions to ask them. So if sharpening and business is something that intrigues you and you acknowledge the value of having a network in whatever you're doing, then I really think you should check out the Guild of Professional Sharpeners, and you can learn more about it at guildofsharpeners.org. And my contact info is everywhere, which is actually really cool. And I'm with the American Edge, I do get a lot of calls from people in New Hampshire because that's where I am. And with the guild, I have noticed an uptick in calls of outside New Hampshire, which is fun. So anyway, if you want to talk it out, let me know. All right, so let's talk a little bit about this. All right, so here's some things that make this hard. The chisel grind. The thing is, so the chisel grind doesn't have to be hard, but the thing is this. I've already taped it up just because I'm worried about time on this video. I feel like it might go long, and there's a lot I want to share. So remember that if you hit the little wheel icon, you can speed this up. 1.5 times is probably a decent speed where you can still make out what I'm saying and see what I'm doing, but get through it a little quicker. But so I've already taped it up. I've got my Edge Pro set up. For this blade, I'm not going to the 1x30. I'm going to do all the grinding on by stone on the bench because I want to take good care of it, right? Like, so the thing that concerns me is that it has a very nice finish on the back that I don't want to scratch. But with a chisel grind, you only grind one side. So I'm going to build a burr up on the back, but I don't want to scratch the back, right? So how am I going to get that burr off? And I'll tell you what I'm going to try to do is build up a nice burr and then keep going, right? Like, not take that burr off, but essentially undercut that burr with each progressive stone until I get to the very end. And then what I'm thinking I'm going to do, please allow me to change my mind as I work through this knife, but with a light stroke, I can push what burr is left over to the bevel and then cut that burr off. And I'm hoping that will not scratch up the back at all. Also, because I have tape on the back, you have to think with your mind's eye here, but with it taped up, it's the thickness of the tape here and not at the edge. So when I set that on a stone, it's actually got a really, really, really tiny angle. So it's not going to scrape the blade. It should only cut right at the very edge. So I'm hoping that with with one stroke, and at the very edge that I will be able to get it. The other thing is with the Tanto grind, you'll notice, you know, that's what this shape is right here. This can be at times challenging. It can almost sometimes seem like a whole different knife if you have to adjust the angle to get the portion out towards the tip. When I was setting it up, it looks like I might be able to do it without adjusting the height on the Edge Pro. But again, once I take a few passes, I'll know. Another challenging thing with this is that this knife has been worked. So I don't have a factory edge, and I don't have a factory bevel, I mean, and I don't have a consistent bevel. So I kind of have to pick one, which is fine. I'm happy to do that. But another thing which you may, I'm going to call on this again. This thing is, all right, so this is your blade, right? Like this is the 20-degree flat grind. But if you, again, I didn't cut another piece to get it, but if you move this over to one side and you get a chisel grind, meaning it stays flat on this side and you just cut on one side, please understand then that now your cutting angle goes from 42, which is 21 plus 21, and if you're doing a 21-degree bevel on a knife, 21 plus 21, you slide that over, so it goes from 42 to 21. That's a way more acute angle. And I wanted to share that because if you like, chisels are commonly done at 35 degrees, but a 35-degree bevel on a chisel is a more acute angle than a 21-degree flat grind on a chef knife. And that can be a little confusing. I hope this has made sense. If it doesn't, you can ask. But I bring that up to let you know that we're going to be sitting high on the post on the Edge Pro. Okay, the other thing, and I'm putting this out to you guys. All right, so my understanding of chisel grinds, right? Like if I were to buy, let's say I have a chef knife with a chisel grind, but the grind is cut on the right-hand side if I'm using it like this, so that as I cut like vegetables or something like that, it's pushing what I'm cut away and leaving a flat cut down what I'm cutting. With the Emersons, I don't get them a lot, but the ones I've seen always are cut on the left-hand side. And I'm curious about why they chose to do that. Either they don't care, or they're targeting a left-handed community, which is maybe, I don't know, or it's just a style thing. So can you tell me, like, why is Emerson cutting the chisel grind on the left-hand side of the blade? Because it doesn't make sense to me. All right, and lastly, here's the thing that has jumped out at me quite a bit. If I were a knife maker, a primary thing in my knife design process would be maintainability. And like I get they look cool. Like I see these knives like with recurves and like really cool designs, but the practicality is they can be very hard to maintain. And the chisel grind doesn't have to be hard to maintain, but if you want to keep it clean, it is. And I guess the point is, like, this is a tough knife, right? Like, I'm going to show you how I do it. I'm hoping that it comes out well, but conversely, like, this is the knife I carry. Like that, I would consider that a markedly easier knife to maintain, just based on blade design. So keep that in mind when you're out looking for knives that you want to add to your collection. Ease of maintainability should be a high priority. Okay, let's go to the bench here. I'm going to flash some light. I'm going to get you down here first. Okay, we are going to, or like I said, I am not going to the 1x30 with this because I just want to make sure that I don't cut it the way I shouldn't cut it. And I'm worried that at that transition from the main blade to the Tanto, that I could botch that up to an extent that I would have a hard time recovering on the 1x30. So I'm gonna do the legwork here on the Edge Pro. I do have this spaceship attach and I have the magnet down low. So this is one of those times where I really like this application. Like this is good. And then because of the way the chisel grind is, all of the work is going to be done with my not dominant hand, but it's all right. We've done this before. So now comes the time, right? Like we're 10 minutes in, but I already did the Sharpie trick. I got as close as I could. Like I said, this bevel has been worked, so this has a potential to be a lot of work to bring this back. I am using the 120 stone here. I'm going to focus, I think, certainly one at a time, right? Like this bevel vice the bevel at the tip. I'm not going to combine those, like sweep all the way around. I want this at the Tanto, I want that to be a nice sharp point. I do intend to wipe the blade off frequently. Yeah, see, you want to be careful here. Because I also, again, like I don't want to be scratching the finish. See how we're doing? We got a long way to go. I'm almost at it all the way back. I'm almost, yeah, I actually do have a burr built up here. So actually the angle I chose, I'm okay with, but I do need a significant amount of cutting. So let's just get into it. Turn some tunes on. Forgive the boring grinding portion that can be I'm gonna regret this decision. Like this might, looks, I can see I got a long way to go on that. All right, this is why you buy the 1x30. I love the precision that the Edge Pro affords, but when you got jobs like this, man, this can be some work. We're getting, all right, we're getting there. Looking for bright spots, definitely have it there, but I do have a lot of work to do here. Just keep chugging. The other thing is, like, I want to wear it evenly too, right? Want a nice straight line across the back, which means I gotta keep cutting. John in the guild did get the Edge Pro has, I believe it's a 60 grit diamond stone now. You got to pay for it, but I think it's like $60. But he got one for this exact reason. He was saying it's pretty good. Usually when I have a job like this, I'm going to do it on the 1x30, so I don't really, but I have gone through my fair share of, as I was growing, figuring out how to cut faster. Keep the stone clean. I'm also, you can't see it because I'm a magician, but as I go over here and I come back, I'm flipping it so that I try to wear the stone more evenly. Wipe down the bed. Here's the other thing I thought about this, right? Like, there's a lot of ways to sharpen. I would love to see like a blade like this getting done on some of these other rigs, especially the Tormek. I feel like this would be a hard blade to do on the Tormek. I've started using the Tormek because I want to learn how to use it better on kitchen knives. And I've gotten better. The thing is, right, like when you have a very high standard and you have the skills and the tools to get a very high quality finish on an edge, it's hard to tolerate anything less than the highest quality. So you have to get, I think that, yeah, I mean, I will tell you the Tormek can deliver a very high quality edge. but it also does take some practice. If you don't practice, you'll never get it. I can see half of the blade now, so right where my thumb is, this part is building a burr, this part is not. So, progress. Understand too, this is the hard part, right? Once we get that burr built across the whole stone, across the whole edge, I mean, then it's just refining the bevel. But I also, like I said, I want it to be straight, so I need to grind back here where I'm building a burr so I can keep a nice straight edge. I'm going to try to anyway. Like, it's going to be kind of hard to do because of how much is required here. And then you probably don't notice, I have shifted a little bit to a, it'll cut if you're pushing down on the push stroke, it'll cut a little better, a little more. I'm trying to find the balance of cutting with the pull stroke, cutting with the push stroke. Let's check it out. See that we're not scratching up the back too bad. Back still looks good. There we go, had a little swarf on there, clean that off. We're getting there, we're on the home stretch now. Getting a burr towards the Tanto, so that's good. Clean the stone again. And Emerson, maybe not this one, but a different one, was one of the very first knives I sharpened when I was in Djibouti, Africa. Just learned. I got my first Edge Pro shipped to me in Djibouti. I was telling the guys I was deployed with that I'm picking up knife sharpening. Sadly, I forget the dude's name at the moment, but Army dude said, yeah, dude. Give it some. Gave me his Emerson. Looking back, man, holy moly, did I have a lot to learn. I don't know that I made his knife any worse. I don't know that I made it any better either. Woo! Oh, man. Checking it. Sorry, I'm out of view on you there, but yeah, we got a burr down the whole way. All right, so we have an edge built on the main part. Let's clean up and move over to the Tanto. I might not be using that terminology correctly. I think the whole blade design is the Tanto. Let's see how that looks. All right, yeah, we got the same thing. Got a bit of work to do, but the angle is not too bad. I'm checking periodically because I want to make sure that I like the way that angle is. Okay, so yeah, all right, so what you can't see, but I can see is I'm cutting a little high at the tip and low near this curve, which is fine, right? So that just means that hopefully I split the difference and they will all form an edge at the same time. Because I'm dealing with both the tip and the transition, I'm trying to focus more on the pull stroke here. So if I make a bad stroke, it's less potential trouble. Remember when I used to do kitchen knives this way? All right, I have barely a burr at the tip. Okay. All right, I have a burr all the way down to right at that transition. So I just got to do a little bit more work at the transition. So close. You guys ever get to that point where like you're so close, like, hey, can I just move on? Like, will the next stone get all that out? Don't do it, man. Don't move on until you're at the right step. Or everything you do after is wasted. There we go. All right, I know this is so hard for me to show you because I just don't have the right equipment, but I have an edge. You have to trust me. Got a burr built the whole way, right? Yeah. Okay. So now, in a lot of cases, what I do, like if this was a flat grind blade, I would go to the other side, right? And then you cut that burr off. You keep going back and forth. I want to minimize anything I do over here, so I'm going to give this a shot. I'm going to undercut that burr as I move up in stone, and I'll just have to use my eye on the edge to confirm that I'm cutting the bevel appropriately. Double check in here, right, because it's possible I wore that stone a little bit. I'm not going to do every stone. I am using the diamond matrix, I'm using the conventional stones to start here. But I will be finishing with the diamond matrix and this 6000 grit polishing tape. But I will not use every stone in the diamond matrix sequence. So my thoughts here at the moment are that when you're doing a lot of work with a coarse stone, you're going to leave quite a bit of coarse finish on that bevel. So I'm going to spend a little bit more time here on the slightly finer stones, and I might be moving a little bit faster through the stones when I get into the finer grits. This is the 220. Right, you go check the burr, like, yeah, it's still there. It would be interesting if at some point whether it becomes less. That would be strangely but a good sign for me. Yeah, all right, so that didn't soak the right stone, but that was the 220 going to the 650. 650 is almost ready to be replaced. Oh, the other thing I did in the guild, I had to mount some new stones for my Edge Pro stones, so I made a video in there to show how I did that. And what was really great was the commentary that followed was all different ways to do it, because I do it with a heat gun. A lot of guys don't have a heat gun, but they still make it happen. And I was, it's great, man. Just all the different ways to do things. All right, this is the 650 Diamond Matrix stone. Already looking awesome. Hope you can see that. You probably cannot. Let's take a nice close look up here. You know, you like spend the time to look at it. 1100 diamond matrix. Right, like it's like it goes to the exact same place every time. I love that. It's a nice feature they came up with. And the magnet there just for a little extra holding power. I'm contemplating trying to get that burr off right now with the 1100 just to see how it goes. What I'm going to do, clean my stone. Oh, and here's the way I'm going to do that, I think. I have this is like the drawer liner, just a little thing that cut out. I'm going to clean this off. I don't want to peel my tape up. I'm going to go this way. Just take a look, make sure that I'm not scratching it too bad. Doesn't feel to be cutting too good either. Yeah, I still have that burr, so this is good. We might not undercutting it quite as much as I thought I would. Don't do that, man. Again, check it, make sure I'm not. But I'm not cutting the burr off either. Oh, yeah, all right. A little bit. I'm gonna focus on the push strokes here. So have a burr. Ooh, it's getting better, but all right, so it's cut some of it off, but not all of it. What we're going to try to do is go back to the 650 and see if that will cut the burr off. Let's check it out. It's not, so like I'm gonna keep experimenting. There's a difference between pushing and cut and pulling off. I was thinking I would push, take it, it'd be real easy with a simple push to get it back onto the bevel, but it is going a little bit harder than I expected. But that's okay. Just take your time, right? What you don't want to do is get too hungry and then push the, roll your edge over that you just spent all that time sawing away on. All right, we're getting there now. That part's good. A little bit more up here. Now, stabbing. But I'm going to, let's see what happens when we keep going up a little bit. 2,300. You guys getting bored yet? Still on sharpen knives? It's gonna be fun, right? I feel like I probably undercharged for knives like this, but still thinking how I want to get that burr off of there. That looks pretty good. I was thinking I might actually, there's something there right at the tip I want to work a little bit. A lot of this is training the eye to detect what's going on. In order to do that, you just got to look close. You got to look close, and you got to look close often. And things will start jumping out at you. Adjust the way the light reflects off of it. I'm applying just a bit more pressure there at the tip to, there we go. A little bit more right there. All right. And I think I have my 4,000 stone. I knew it. This was going to be a long one. Thanks for hanging in with me if you made it this far. It's starting to shine for us. Oh yeah, I wanted to cut that burr off. Can I put up here? And you remember when we go to the polishing tapes, it is the really low pressure, but there we go. All right. Now the other thing about the polishing tapes is that they should be used dry. What's nice is I'm not marring the back of this at all. That's not bad, man. That's not bad. All right, but the we wouldn't be done if we didn't put the Facebook finish on it. Dry everything off. Put my 6,000 grit polishing tape in. This tape probably has another knife or two left in it. Start on the pull stroke just in case there's anything there. I sort of feel like something's there. But man, does that start coming alive. That tape is really something. I'm applying very little pressure. What you'll find here is that you will cut your tapes. Catches the eye. That is a tough edge. But that's great, man. Like that's it is you know, like there's always opportunity to get better. I'm just feeling it out, like I'm checking it. There is no burr here anymore. Maybe a little something right there. I think I'm going to do one pass like this, just real light. And then just a real light push stroke here. Okay, I'm going to call that as good as it's going to be. One thing that did come up was cleaning. So I don't do any cleaning. I'm not in the game of taking apart the mechanism in here, but I do like to lubricate them up before I send them home. All right, that's nice. So I didn't mar it up. I'll wipe it down. There's just a little bit of residue from the, and that's how you know it's a decent blade and that all of the etching has not popped off. Like it's legit. Sometimes I'm careful, like I don't want to I don't put tape and I don't use like the Goo Gone and stuff on some of these, because sometimes it will take the surface finish right off. Hopefully you can see that all right. I don't know if that's catching that or not for you. Ain't too bad though. Just a little touch test, like that's sharp, brother. I gotta cut my hair tonight. Should I just shave it with that? Just kidding. Just kidding, guys. Take it easy. All right, this is hops number 9. Love the applicator tip on here. It gets right into the bearing mechanism, or pin mechanism, however it's designed. A little bit right here. Don't overdo it. If there is a bunch of debris in there, I might go grab a. Oh man, did that the other day with a putty knife that I sharpened. I was gonna say I could go grab a. This one doesn't need it, but if there is debris inside the handle, I can get a Q-tip, clean that out that way. Okay, smooth. Sharp. Sorry for taking so long. Love you guys. See you next week. Stay well. Let me know what you think. Subscribe, thumbs up. Cheers.